Okay, this is Mitch for Indigenous Insights, Eagle Radio's weekly Nishnabe radio program. We are here with Mr. Tom Chosa, Fire and Emergency Management Director. Tom, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so this is the pilot episode of our kind of KBIC news segments. We're gonna give it a shot. Thank you for being the pilot too, by the way. You're brave. All right, so first of all, just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Tom Chosa. I'm the tribe's Fire and Emergency Management Director. We do wild and fire management. It used to be formerly called the Beartown Firefighter Program, and we've kind of transitioned into a more of a wider, all-encompassing fire management program over there, dealing with suppression, fuels management, fire prevention, things of that nature, and as well as performing emergency management functions for the tribe.
Okay, very good. Give us a bit of an update about the Fire and Emergency Management Department. How's it going over there?
Things are going well. They're pretty slow, middle of winter now, but we are, working on plans and things to get ready for the upcoming spring fire season. One of the biggest things that I'm working on right now is trying to fill some positions with our fuels module, which is a new thing that we will be standing up this year. We just obtained 5 years of funding through the bipartisan infrastructure law to create 5 full-time year-round positions to do hazard fuels reduction projects, not only here within the community, but also regionally and nationally.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about how that process looks. How does somebody get involved? Do they need education?
There's a couple of different ways that you can get involved with us over there. Obviously, I am looking to fill some full-time positions, which include benefits and the whole tribe's benefit package, which is pretty good. But there's also on-call positions that I have just recently reposted. We're a little slim on personnel over there, so we could definitely use some help. You don't need to get involved right inside the door if you have no experience. We have some positions, just basic firefighter positions, which are entry level. We provide the training in-house to become what's called red carded, certified to go out there and do well and firefighting stuff. And generally all you need is, be 18, have a high school diploma, have a driver's license, because obviously, we travel quite a bit, so that's very important. And I love working in the outdoors. We do a lot of work outside. A lot of it's, could be physically strenuous work, but it's if you like to work outdoors, we do a lot of that.
So how does that sort of work schedule-wise? I mean, is there a day-to-day schedule you clock in or clock out, or do you wait for something to happen? Or
normally we'll work a regular Monday through Friday schedule, and then generally during our fire seasons, which up here in the UP is mid to late April into June, and then during those times, with high fire danger, we could work 7 days a week with extended staffing hours, all depending on what the weather's doing, the fuel conditions, and what the fire danger is. But it's usually Monday through Friday on a typical day. And then obviously for out on fire assignments, those could be 2 weeks straight, up to 14, 16 hours or even longer, per day, on whether it's a severity assignment or a working incident, around the country.
Okay, so you mentioned like right now with winter, it's kind of slower. What would a typical day look like right now in a slower time? What are you doing on a day-to-day?
A lot of times like this, we'll do trainings, and during the slow times, making plans, writing burn plans, coming up with things that we want to do as far as fuels management wise locally. We do a lot of work with our forestry department as well, because we're kind of working in the same area out in the forest and in the wildlands. And for example, we have a project right now that my department and forestry work together on, the St. Arnold's hazard fuels reduction project, and that encompasses about 40 acres of red pine plantation out off St. Arnold Road, which a lot of people know that as the farms area. And there was some pine that was planted back in the 70s, and it's been 40 plus years of growing unmanaged, really thick, really dense pine stands out there, and so we work together to figure out a way to thin that out, basically, to make it more healthier, more resilient, and also to reduce the fire danger, from a predominantly all red pine stand. So that's currently going underway right now, and so then the next once the thinning is done, then we'll go in and either we'll do like make piles. We'll do like pile burning is a big part of like wintertime stuff. And so like in the summertime, when we're doing thinning projects, if the fuels, the material is right, we'll make piles, and then we'll come back later on in the winter months, get a little layer of snow on the ground, and then we'll burn those piles to remove the residual slash from a lot of this, to help clean the forest, taking care of the forest, and making them more healthier and resilient. We do a lot of like I said, training, planning. With this, there's always potential nowadays, with going on assignments down south. I think there was a request for resources to go down to Florida or Oklahoma just back in January. So fire season never truly really ends. It's almost a year-round thing nowadays. With climate change and things of that nature.
Yeah, let me ask you, how did you get into this field? How long you been in it, and tell us a little bit about your history with the department.
Well, I got my start back in the late '80s. I was living out in Rocky Boy, Montana, on the Rocky Boy Indian Reservation. My dad was a BIA forester. He graduated from Michigan Tech in forestry, and part of his job was to respond to fires on the reservation. So a lot of times, I'm senior in high school, kind of laying around, not doing a whole lot, and he'd get calls on weekends to go for fires that would start, and if he couldn't get a hold of his folks, he'd get me up and drag me out there and help him out, responding to these fires, and so that kind of got me hooked into it, and I did that. That's where I got my start, and then got going with some of the Type 2 Montana hand crews. And we eventually ended up in Southern California. My dad took a position down there, and as a Southern California agency forester. Of course, me being young and not a whole lot going on, moved down there with them, and I got hired on as a seasonal for Sequan Reservation Fire Department in San Diego County. And there I had spent about 10 years with that department, full-time paid professional department. And I left there as a captain, shift captain, and department training officer, doing structural, fire, EMS, all of that kind of stuff. And it'd been about 20 years, since we moved out of home, and came back in 2000. And then I was approached, by some folks here to help start a crew program, and with my experience out west and on fighting wildland fires and just fire in general. And so that's how we got the Beartown Fire program started, and done that, helped out that for a while. I did some time with the local volunteer fire department. I think about 13 years I had with the Beartown Fire Department. And the opportunity came about to take over this program here. And I was the former IT director for the tribe, I was like computer, kind of computer geeky kind of thing. But
had to get out of that office.
Oh, yeah. But fire, fighting fire has always been a passion of mine, and it's something that, I love doing. It's hard, dirty work sometimes, but the...
Yeah, you mentioned you got hooked. What is it about that field that has, what keeps you going?
It's just, some of it's the excitement of it, it can be... when things are happening out there, it's things are, you got to make split-second decisions a lot of times, and it's just. But at the end of the day, at the end of the shift, you can look back at what you've done and really feel good about it. Look at the people you're with, because teamwork is a big part of wildland fire, working together to accomplish these things, and you can look back and just that sense of satisfaction of, yeah, that was a tough job, that was a hard assignment, and you got it done. So. I'm 52 years old now. I've been doing it for a while, and but it's definitely a young person's kind of a job. So, but that's kind of it's always been there. It's just plus also as with being a firefighter, and a lot of the work we do, it's kind of we do a lot of we look at ourselves as stewards of the land, as Ojibwe, as Nishnabe people, that's what we have a strong tie, to the land and caring for the land and managing the land, and doing this job kind of helps with reestablishing that connection, and because a lot of things that we've lost over the years and with our culture and stuff like that. So that's just one way, that I approach it as reestablishing that connection with the land, helping being a steward of the land and managing it and taking care of it.
Absolutely. Do you have to be a tribal member to apply?
Nope. No, we take anybody that wants to work, and come do this job. It's not for everybody. There's a lot of travel involved with it. Sometimes, but there's a lot of just downtime. It's a lot of not patrolling out there and not a lot of stuff happening, but then that could change in a minute. You get a fire call and you're off. You never know what you're gonna find when you get there, and or even like locally home here. There's a lot of stuff we can do. Like I said, doing involved with the community, things like that. We'll provide firewood. For the annual powwow and things like that we do as well. So. Very
cool. Where would one find the application?
Applications can be found up at the Tribal Center at the Human Resources Office. It is a kind of a little lengthy process to go through and get hired, because we work closely with the Bureau of Indian Affairs. So there's a medical process you have to go through with them as well to get cleared to do the PAC test, and which is basically for arduous firefighting positions. It's a 3-mile hike with 45 pounds in 45 minutes that you have to do every year. And so they want to make sure, you're healthy and fit to do that test, because it's a pretty tough test.
All right. Anything else you'd like to cover before we sign off?
Nope, that's about it. But yeah, definitely it's a if you like to work outside, and do things, and even if you're, trying to figure out what you want to do, there's a lot of opportunity to come and do this job, and also learn things like leadership, teamwork, and different things that may help you later on. It's a good way to get in the door if you want to look at going maybe to the federal side of things, get some experience with us, kind of start building that resume, helping us locally, and then see where the future takes you.
All right. Thank you very much for being here.
No problem. Thank you.